A very good evening, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, Patricia and David, ZMH 286, and it is Friday, the 3rd of May, and there are a lot of boats out there. We have had a sort of a funny day here today, and I suspect it's very much like some of what you have experienced at sea. We've had, they reckon 12 degrees, but it wasn't that up here, but 12 to 22 degrees today, 1017.1, sort of flashish on the bar, indicating the wind has dropped quite significantly, and looking at the boat speeds, I'd say that it's dropped with you as well, but we'll soon find out. It's about 5 knots from the south-southwest here at the moment, with about 40% cloud cover, I suppose, but it just changes. It's just unstable. I'll be calling the boats that we've got on air shortly. Scoots, Freya, Cambria, Ballina and Reynard 4. And before I do that, I thought you might like an update of where everybody is. We have some of the front runners. There's Atlas leading the bunch here. Kalia, Q2, Rala, Ballina, Skyfall, and then we have Cambria, Ocean and Shakina, Camelot, hello to you guys, Counting Stars, Freya, Scoots, who's caught up on the group that left from the Bay of Islands, and then we have the ones that have left a day later, Fortuna Star, Six Half and Pierre de Lune look as if they're heading to Newcastle, Luthia, Tina of Ponce, a US boat. That's an interesting name for a US boat. Risky Business, I thought they were heading for South America, but they seem to have come back to a more nor'easter course. Evie and Turquoise, not sure where Wave Rider is going. Oh, here's Nanny has set off as well, and possibly Zanzibar from Australia. So yeah, quite a few boats have left today, only a couple from yesterday. So, and after we've taken the check-ins, David will look at what's ahead, what the arrival is going to be like at Minerva for those that are going there, and there was something else. There were 3 things he was doing, but he'll explain that shortly. Meanwhile, we'll go to check-ins. Scoots, Gulf Harbour. Oh, just hang on a minute. I seem to have got my frequency wrong. Hang on the remote. Mind you, you have got such a good signal, Daryl, that you're coming through on my own antenna. But try again, over.
Gulf Harbour Radio, this is Scoots, copy.
Yeah, I've got really good copy on you now that I've got the right frequency, Daryl. Hello to Carol, go ahead.
Good evening, David, Patricia. We are at 3015 South, 17651 East, course of 025 true, 7 knots, with a southerly wind of 15 knots. Had a wonderful day. The water was cold out, code 0.
Wow. I bet that looks good. Boy, it's not often you get a passage that you can do that, and I bet you're making the most of it. 3015 South, 17651 East, 025 true course at 7 knots. I was wondering why you were getting such good speed. Southerly 15 knots with the code 0 flying. So it's always so cheerful to see a burst of colour. What is it, over?
Not particularly colourful, it's white. Over.
Oh, that's a blow.
Sun's spinning.
Oh well, that's good. So we'll expect some probably a decent speed all night. So just stand by. David will give a sort of a roundup of weather shortly, unless there's anything you particularly want to ask. I presume the sea is down a bit now, over.
Yeah, it's very pleasant. We've got a little following sea and just gliding along and having a lovely time, over.
Oh, good show. Oh, it sounds nice. Boy, it makes me wish that we were out there again. All right, well, have a good night, you two, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. So behind Scoots is Freya, Gulf Harbour.
Gulf Harbour, this is Freya. How happens?
Just really, really good copy. We've got some excellent conditions for the radio at the moment, which is always nice. Go ahead, Todd.
That is very nice. Our position, 3041 south, 17634 east. We have a course of 15 true. Speed over the ground, 5.8 knots. True wind direction, been variable today in direction. Presently 185 true at 15 knots. Waves south-southwest, around 1 meter. We are headed towards North Minerva. ETA approximately Tuesday afternoon. 490 miles to go to North Minerva. Over.
Okay, well, David will be talking about that one shortly, unless he grabs the microphone straight away. But you are at 3041 south, 17634 east, on a true course of 015 at 5.8 knots. The wind pretty light, but currently southerly, 185 true, 15 knots. Southwest swell about 1 metre, nice little push rather than having it against you, that's nice. And North Minerva on Tuesday afternoon with 490 miles to go. Stand by.
Oh, you're flying. That sounds fantastic. Looking at Tuesday, southerly winds about 12 to 15, and seas probably about 2 meters coming out of the south, 2 meters coming out of the south. Fairly clear in terms of cloud cover. Monday might be a little bit of shower activity, not rain, but showers, and obviously then with that scattered cloud. So yeah, looking pretty good. The wind, by the way, on Monday, that's the 6th, I think, yeah, the 6th, that's going to be about from the northeast, believe it or not, and that's all due to that developing subtropical depression that we talked about yesterday that is going to be moving to the southeast and not really going to be directly involving you or any of the boats that left yesterday or the day before. So we will see a wind shift then by Tuesday, like I say, southerlies, sort of what you've got now, except that as Monday rolls near, you will get the wind change effects due to that depression. So, yeah, not much else to say. Everything is still looking very good. So, back to the chief.
All right, sounds like it'll be quite pleasant, and when we get up to Ballina, I'm sure. I was trying to do something, David, on the computer. Did you give every day? Because Ballina will be there a bit quicker, but we'll wait and talk to Benno shortly. All right, we'll clear with Freya and go to Cambria further north. Cambria, Rob, are you on frequency? No, nothing heard there. How about Ballina, Gulf Harbour?
Yeah, Gulf Harbour Radio, this is Ballina. How do you copy?
Oh, lovely copy, Benno. Hopefully you're copying us as well, but it's, yeah, excellent conditions. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Patricia and David. Very good copy from you as well. Yeah, I give you my position. My position is 2957 south and 17749 east. We are on the course of 030 true. Speed is 8 to 9 knots. Wind speed is south-southeast 12 knots. Swell is less than 2 meters. Clouds about 30% and 1017 on the bar. 1017 and all well on board. Over.
I tell you what, it all would be well on board Chameleon if we ever had those sorts of speeds with that much wind. Ballina on their way to Minerva, 2957 south, 17749 east, course of 030 true, 8 to 9 knots, 30% cloud cover, bar of 1017. The wind is south-southeast. Yes, you're further east than the other boats, and seas less than 2 metres. So all is certainly very well on board. Over.
Yeah, all is well on board. We had a beautiful spinnaker sailing today, except when we had to take it down. There was sudden gusts, and it was a big job to get the spinnaker down. But now all is well, and we are sailing with Genoa and Maine again. And yeah, it's nice sailing with following seas, and yeah, we hope it continues the next couple of days. Over.
Yeah, I don't know whether David's got a comment on that one.
No, it's going to be good.
No, it's going to be good, he says. Gosh, this is, you guys that all left on May 1 are really, really having a wonderful time of it. All right, we'll chat to you tomorrow. Hello to Marlene. And we will go on to Reynard 4. Reynard 4, Gulf Harbour.
Gulf Harbour, this is Reynard.
Yep, got good copy on you tonight. Simon, go ahead.
Well, I first would like to thank you. Everyone does it at the end. We'll do it right from the start. So thank you for being there. It's very nice. Our good position is 1 degree 4 south, 1 7. Our speed over ground is 5 knots. Our heading is 050 through. We got about 8 to 15 knots of wind up from south-southwest. Swell is 1.5 meters south-southwest. Cloud cover 20%. How copy?
I'm going to get you to repeat your position because I had a few static crashes. I've got the rest of it okay, but just your latitude and longitude. Over.
31 degrees 4 to south, 176 degrees 27 east. No copy?
Yeah, that's good, thank you. 31 degrees 42 south, 176 27 east, on a course of 050 true at 5 knots, and about 15 knots or sometimes less of south-southwest. 1.5 metre south-southwest swell and 20% cloud cover. So making good steady progress, Simon. So I hope all the family are good. Over.
Yes, everything good. Very relaxed sailing. We're hoping for the wind to go a bit more southeast so we can hit the Minerva.
Yep, well, I'm sure that's going to happen. In fact, within the next 24 hours, I would suspect.
Yep, it'll be southeast
Yes,
tomorrow.
David says. Yeah, we were looking at it before. So, yep, no problem there. And you'll be heading to Minerva as well. All right, clear with you guys. Have a very good evening. Is there anybody else wanting to make contact before I pass the microphone? I do have you, Genesis, and that means that you did in fact get away today. Is that correct? Over.
Yes, roger that. How copy?
Well, it's a little bit light at the moment, but you are quite close to me, Michael. So go ahead. Over.
Roger. We are at 34 degrees 35 south and 173 degrees 48 east, doing a speed of 5 knots. And a course of 329 degrees true. We have wind of 10 knots from the west, and waves are about 1 meter from the west. Over.
Okay, and you guys obviously with that course are heading to Newcastle from memory. So left the Bay of Islands today, 34 degrees 35 south, 17348 east, on a course of 329 true. 5 knots with 10 knots of westerly and a 1 metre westerly swell. So you'll be getting your sea legs tonight, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Over.
Roger that. All is very well. Beautiful day, and yeah, have a good night. Thank you for being here.
No problem. Yeah, it's nice to have this sort of weather when you take off after a summer of no ocean sailing, isn't it? Just amazing. Okay, one more call in case there's anybody else.
Luthier.
Oh, Oh, that was so strong, and I had the volume up. It sounds like luthier, luthier. Go ahead.
Yes, this is sailboat Luthier. Good afternoon. How do you copy me?
You have a booming signal. Are you a steel boat? Over.
Yes, a sailboat.
No, steel. A metal steel boat, because your signal is very, very strong. Over.
Okay. This is sailboat Luthier. I'm in the position 32 degrees south, 48 minutes, 174 degrees, 29 minutes, and the wind, real wind now is about 9 knots. It has been 9 to 14 knots all the day along. The sea state is average 1.5, sometimes 2 meters. Very nice sailing, everything okay on board. Did you copy?
I certainly did. Can you give me your course and speed and where you are going? Over.
Could you repeat, please?
I would like your course, your direction, and your boat speed, and tell me where you are going. Where are you headed to? Over.
Oh, okay. We are heading to Fiji, probably Ruta Marina, and my heading now is 0 degrees true, 0 degrees north true. The wind comes from the south. My speed right now is about 4 knots, okay? I'm sailing, not motor sailing.
Yep, that sounds good. Yeah, there's going to be not too much need with the people who love nice sailing to turn the engine on unless you have to charge. So, yep, all is good. And how many on board? Over.
2 passengers on board, just me and my wife.
Okay, and your name is?
My name is Dorival, like Delta, Oscar, Romeo, India, Victor, Alpha, Lima. Delta, Oscar, Romeo, India, Victor, Alpha, Lima. Dorival, did you copy?
Yes, I did indeed. Thank you for spelling that out, because it is a different name for me, Dorivald, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. If you want to tell people that are following you, we are on streaming, and they just need to go to our website, which is ghradio.co.nz, if they want to follow you. Okay, fantastic signal from you though, Dorivald, so no problem copying you. Okay, I will give a call now to Cambria in case they're on frequency. No, they must be somewhere else at the moment or doing something. Their position, according to the AIS, is 36 degrees 49. I think it's 36. It's hard to read, and 17637, and they've got pretty much the same conditions as others in that area. Okay, I'm going to pass the microphone now and see what David has to say, and then we'll catch up on any boats after he's finished.
Well, just a couple of things. I'm sure that most of you are doing your own analysis, but since I would say most of you are going to Minerva, north or south, before carrying on, I was just looking at what the arrival weather was going to be. So those of you that are going to be arriving on Monday, the 6th, you might expect some scattered showers. Northeast winds about 5 to 8 knots, kind of an unusual direction, but that's because of that depression to the southeast of you. And seas southerly about 2 meters. And Tuesday, the 7th, the winds are south about 10 to 12, 13, and seas also southerly about 2 meters. And if it happens to be Wednesday, the 8th, southwest winds about 12, maybe 12 to 15. And again, the seas haven't changed much, 2 meters out of the south. And Thursday, the 9th, winds southerly about 12 to 15. sounds like a broken record. And the sea is about 2.5 meters, picking up just a little bit. So that's for those of you that have departed already. Those of you that are leaving on Monday, I'm sure you're looking at your models about every hour. Who knows? Anyway, winds in the Opua area, easterly about 10 to 12 knots. Light showers, 50% cloud, and the seas are going to be quite light coming out of the east, about a meter. And if you do leave on Monday, the Prague at 30 south, and I reckon about 3 days for you to get up to about 30 south. And I'm using the rum line to Fiji. You could expect 70% cloud, give or take on that. Scattered showers, winds southerly, 20 knots, 20 knots. And the seas, they'll be up a little bit, southeast about 3 meters, southeast 3 meters. So that's the summary as I'm looking at it now. So any of you that have any questions regarding the weather, feel free to ask. I realize that you are all doing your own analysis, but you never know. You might have a question. So anyway, back to the chief.
And for those that were looking at Cambria, it is 3051, now that my brain is in action. Okay, is there anybody else wanting to do a radio check or check in? Please call now.
Mackay. Over Cambria.
Oh, there's Cambria. Stand by, Mackay. Cambria, go ahead.
Patricia, yeah, note to self, I need to put my glasses on when I'm setting the frequency on the radio when I was on the wrong frequency. Anyway, we're doing well. We are at 3046 south, 17640 east, course of 25 degrees true, speed over ground, about 6 knots wind from the south at 10 knots, waves southwest less than 1 meter, and the barometric pressure is at 1016, and all is well.
Yeah, everyone seems to be all as well, which is lovely to hear with these nice conditions. So Cambria 3046 south, 17640 east, on a course of 025 true, 6 knots. You'll have scoots breathing down your neck soon. South 10 with south-southwest, less than 1 meter swell, and 1016 on the bar. So sounds good. And hello to Charlene. And I know all too well about the need for glasses. Over.
Yes, hopefully good defeat and start wearing them more.
All right, when we started cruising, we were into, we had, before we started cruising, this is a long time ago, we had contact lenses, and we decided that cruising life did not suit contact lenses, so we both had the operations for the eyes. But I'd have to say, reading charts was still a bit of a challenge without the magnifying glass. Okay, have a good night, you guys, and we'll clear with you and go to Mackay. Mackay, welcome back. Over.
Yeah, Roger, Patricia, thank you very much. This is Sailing Vessel Mackay. Hello, and good evening to you and David. I'm currently in Opua, undertaking a couple of minor engine repairs that have cracked exhaust mixing elbow, which is being repaired, and was hoping to be out on this passage, but it looks like we're going to have to wait. I just wanted to do a radio check and check in this evening, say good evening, and hopefully everything is working fine. Over.
Well, I tell you what, you don't have to worry about spending time on the radio, because you are booming in, especially because I've got I'll hear you better than you'll hear me, because I've got the Kaio antenna for receive, and of course you're not all that far away. But yes, you are doing really, really well. I take it the boat's in the water for this engine repair. Over.
Yeah, Roger, it is. It was a simple little thing. The exhaust mixing elbow had found a crack in a pipe where it joins the mixing repaired, and we should be up and running by Tuesday or Wednesday.
Been there, done that.
Yep, David's just chuckling, been there, done that, except he was doing it when we had about 25 knots of wind coming around into French Polynesia, somewhere up the north, wasn't it? And he had some goop and bandage and God knows what he was doing down there, and I felt really sorry for him. But, you know, it's good that these shitty jobs are male jobs, because otherwise I wouldn't go cruising. All right, well, we'll hear from you next week. Yes, there'll be, you probably won't want to go Monday because there's about 100 boats leaving on Monday. But very shortly after that, we'll presume that you'll get going. So nothing wrong with the radio. All right, we're clear with Mackay. Is there anybody else? Genesis, go ahead again.
Yeah, I was just going to have a quick check with David, if you could. The winds are quite a bit lighter than I expected. Is that going to continue through tomorrow? I was hoping to stay ahead of the light wind area, but it looks like I may be into it. Over.
Yeah, it was a bit late for you to leave. There will be light wind. I'll just pass the microphone. He's having another look. Genesis folks left today. And they are currently around the 34.5 south mark and wondering what the wind is going to do. So stand by one.
Just hang fire.
Hang fire, he said. Not sure that that's a good expression for boats, but here he is.
Yeah, that probably isn't a good expression for boats, but anyway, looking at tomorrow, at about a little past lunchtime, I'd say about 12 knots out of the east. Then on Sunday, it's going to be a little bit stronger, probably about 15 knots, and that's going to be out of the east as well. That high pressure has butted. The big high, for those that are interested, is still anchored near Tasmania, just to the west of Tasmania. And it's a brute. It's really, really big. It's a 1032 millibar mountain of air. Now, it's butted. That means that as it ridged to the east, another little high has formed, and that high is centered right over East Cape. And that, therefore, is providing easterly winds. And that central pressure of that little butted high is about 1026. So yeah, about 13, 18 knots maybe on Sunday. And then Monday, as Monday moves around and you start getting a little bit further north, some very interesting things are happening. You're going to have the wind, depending upon where you are now, the winds are going to be probably around 16 to 18 knots out of the southeast. But you're right at that point where that butted high has moved off to the east, and it's going to be banging into the ridge from our big high, again, that's anchored, still anchored, next Monday, just to the west of Tasmania. And what's happening there is we're getting quite a bit of convective activity. We're getting convergence of wind is what's happening, and so there's going to be a bit of cloud showers, that kind of a thing. And there is going to be a very small depression that's going to form right at that point. And so looking at Tuesday, that area of convection has moved, and it's going to be basically east of the dateline. So your winds are going to be actually fairly fresh, quite brisk. You'll be looking at about 25 knots and higher gusts, and that'll be out of the southeast. And this is rumline to Fiji. Now, if you're going to Minerva, won't change much. It's still going to be out of the southeast. So that's Tuesday, and that's going to be at around 30 south. We could get up there around Tuesday time frame. So it depends where you are. So if you give me some idea where you might be, if you want to do that now or tomorrow, and we can narrow it down a little bit. But yeah, the winds are going to pick up from where you are now, but what they're going to do based upon this convergence activity as you get further north, we'll have to see, because it's really a moving target. The models aren't totally in agreement as to what's going to happen. Well, I think they're in agreement as to what's going to happen. It's exactly when and exactly where is the issue. But anyhow, the low that does form will be out of the way of almost everybody that's heading up toward Fiji or Minerva or Tonga. And when and if it does in fact form, it's going to head southeast. So it's going to be well out of the way of everyone, except the seas are going to pick up, because as that wind picks up around that revolving storm, it's going to push out quite a bit higher seas. So we'll be looking at about 3 meters at around 30 south. And again, so that's the Tuesday time frame, maybe Wednesday time frame of next week. So a lot of activity to come, but for the next couple of days, pretty mellow conditions. Are you confused? Over.
Well, I was always confused, so there's no change there. But no, that actually kind of put a better picture in my head, so thank you very much. And we'll check in tomorrow night and go from there. Genesis is clear.
Roger that. And just reminds me, whilst David was talking, I was having a look at the various boats details, and I see a nice picture of Luthier on the AIS. It would be good when it's too late now, of course, for the boats at sea, but it really is good to be able to see a picture of a boat on the AIS, because we check that, and it just means that David's a little bit more accurate with what he, if he knows what a boat is like. You know, it could be a 17-meter catamaran versus a 11-meter mono like Luthier. It's what he says you can do and what he thinks you can do are quite different, and so it is good if you can at some stage, folks, put a picture on the AIS. It's pretty easy to do once you get to know how to do it, says she. All right, this is Gulf Harbour Radio, and it was a good session tonight. Thank you very much, folks. You're all enjoying what's out there and getting away before the mad rush, so have a good time. One final call if there's anybody with anything. Luthier, go ahead, Dorivaldo.
Yeah, my boat is 34 feet, monohull, and as you see the picture in my AIS, marine traffic. I'm a marine traffic collaborator, so my boat name is always available anywhere in the world I am to anybody that goes there. So anytime live, you will see where I am, okay?
Yep, no problem at all, because I have worldwide AIS, and it's lovely when there's a boat name that is not a very, very common one, because it's easy to find, although I have written down your MMSI number. And it's lovely to have a Brazilian boat. I don't think we've had a Brazilian boat here before, so that's great. Okay, and yep, we'll be keeping track of you. Your AIS is working well, as is Genesis. I forgot to mention, Genesis is working well. The only one I haven't got on AIS is Reynard, but it's good that we've got them on the radio. Okay, cheers everybody. We will be leaving you in peace for the night, and usually I on this net I give a little bit of world news if it's of any interest, but everyone at the moment is pretty keen just to get going. You're up to date with all the hassles around the world anyway, so I won't bother with that unless something interesting does happen. Cheers all. This is Gulf Harbour Radio Clear.